Hi, besties. You've found your community bestie to share thoughts and opinions, recap the shows we love,
Having too much fun.
Bravo should be fun, and have piping hot gossip sessions about the celebrities and Bravo lebs we love, hate, and love to hate. He went on a podcast claiming he had a threesome with two women from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Immediately, I was like, I wonder if it's Brandy and Carlton.
I'm Caitlin Marshall, your pop culture and Bravo bestie. Allegedly allegations. And if you enjoy fun conversation between friends, listening to your bestie rant about shows we can't get enough of, plus enjoy a little bit of, well, ridiculousness.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on.
It's like the Blair Witch Project.
Oh my God. Has anybody seen my ring?
Oh my God.
I don't want to ruin the party or anything.
Have you seen my ring? Oh my God. Can you look on the floor for my ring? God, someone's gonna kill me.
Don't mess with me because I will come.
What? Oh.
Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes.
You're in the right place. So thanks for joining me on Besties by Bravo. Hi, besties. Thank you for joining today, Thursday, August 22nd. And thank you, Jessie, for joining me on this Love Island and just Bravo gossip chat. Glad to have you here, Jessie.
Thanks for having me again. I'm excited to chat more Love Island.
Always. You're one of the original Bravo besties here. You were my very first podcast guest. And then I was like, guess what? You have to keep me forever. So now we're friends. In fact, I'm seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if y'all aren't already following Jessie, she's at @realitywitch_, correct?
Mm-hmm.
On TikTok and on Instagram. So go check her out. She does all the reality TV, deep dives, everything. Well, y'all, Jessie and I have been texting like nonstop since forever, but also yesterday.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. Man, these Love Islanders have been going on all the podcasts, doing all the things to not allow us a moment to breathe. But before we jump into that, we're going to start with a little bit of the Bravo gossip. Okay.
Let's do it.
What do you think about this, Jessie? I hear they are vetting Joe to come back to the Real Housewives of Orange County.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I did not hear that.
Yeah, I'm hearing that.
Huh. That would be interesting. I mean, honestly, like the OG Orange County was good. Like they were some interesting characters.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like I love Emily and Gina, but I feel like lately some of the people I've been trying to put on Orange County, it's just like, eh. So just bring back another weirdo from the past.
Right? I mean, we really got introduced to her in that French maid outfit.
Yeah.
I mean, she was one of the originals that gave us housewives kitschiness, like real housewives kitschiness, I should say, from the beginning. So I think she would be great to join. I also hear that Vicky's really wanting Gretchen to come back on, but it doesn't sound like Vicky has much of a say anymore.
Yeah.
Even though she's a friend of, but she's our OG of the OC, you know.
I always think of Gretchen, like always. Like, again, talk about a little weirdo from Orange County. But when I think of OG Orange County, because she's still just like doing shit on Instagram that you're like, what are you doing? Like editing your child's photos? Like, she'd actually be great to get back on TV again.
I don't think she wants to because they won't have filters for her.
Yeah.
You would see her now.
Right.
And she has a great nose. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, like, when the filters get so intense, the nose disappears, the nose and eyebrows are gone.
She literally doesn't have a nose in like any photo.
No, any video either. That's she's using that Facetune video app, all of it. I still think it would be great. I think that, Giorgio and I do Orange County on Tuesdays. And, we've been catching a lot of heat because I know Giorgio loves Tamara. And it's hard. It's kind of like how you love Teresa.
Yeah.
You want to ride hard for even like that person. You're like, I know they can be such an asshole, but You can recognize a good Real Housewife when you sit back and you're trying to, even if it is incredibly subjective, trying to objectively see someone is a good housewife. Also, friends, let me just tell you, they are still working on this roof. And if you hear random pounding, I'm going to do my best for audio to edit that out. But like, when it's like they're obviously this is not the case, but it's at the point where I'm like, you're doing this to the extent to just piss me off, even though obviously they're not. They're just doing their job. My God. But still, I'm like, could you stop?
They're like,
Anyway,
oh, someone's on a call in there. We're gonna bang on this window or roof more than we have to.
yes, there is literally a man outside my window, and I'm kind of like, he's probably looking in like, why does this chick have all these lights and a microphone, you freaking weirdo, and a neon sign on top of it?
Yeah,
anyway.
hi besties.
Hi bestie. Like, please just ignore me, okay? I'm just sitting here in the burbs of Denver. Anyway, so if I have moments of distraction, if you're watching and you see me looking around like WTF look on my face, that's what it is. Also, speaking of Teresa, so the Bachelorette, Rachel Lindsay. She was on a podcast, Reality Ringer, I think is what she was on. I guess at BravoCon a few years ago. Sorry, it's the most Teresa Giudice thing ever. Teresa thought she was Rihanna.
Oh my God. Come on. That is the most Teresa situation of all time.
I mean, a
compliment, I guess. Like, if you're going to get mistaken for anybody, Rihanna's not a bad option.
At all.
What an idiot.
Just like how I had to send you on Instagram. I think By Wig Hello Drama had posted what Bravo put up of all of Teresa's, Teresa-isms over the years. Like, oh, what a coinky dink. Brown chicka round round.
I know.
And wait, she said brown chicka brown.
Yeah, brown.
And then tried to wink and she couldn't. Yeah. Listen, not everyone can wink. I get it.
I know. And that's probably why Giorgio goes hard for Tamra, because it's like you just have these funny memories throughout the years. And you just like I know Teresa's a monster, but like I just think about old Jersey and I just can't let her go. I just can't. No. It's too good. It is too fucking good.
Well, it's also like Teresa, it's easy, I feel like, at this point to separate where she's at now compared to back then when you are looking at it from that perspective that you're saying is like, old Jersey. Was she insufferable? Yes. But was she also so hilarious and almost like this odd innocence to her while being a monster? Yeah. It's still slightly there, but Louis taints that innocence just from his presence alone.
I know, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of men who taint things, I heard also that Jax Taylor is getting out of the treatment center.
Oh, I saw that. Oh, it's today?
I heard.
And he's going to start filming with them again, right?
Yes. I don't know why people were trying to say, oh no, filming's going to shut down. No, honey, we still saw Brittany wearing a shark fin on her back with Lala and Sheena. I think it was like this perfect way for Lala and Sheena to get in there on the valley.
I'm shocked they did that. Like,
are you though?
Well, I'm shocked. I'm shocked production did it because I feel like the fans were pretty clear that they did not want at least Lala on there because there were all the rumors leading up to the filming and everyone was like, no, this show's really good. No, don't add them. And then Jax leaves and immediately they come in. Honestly, everyone always said Jax and Brittany were like the least dramatic people on that show. Like they don't need more drama. Like everyone on that show is pretty wild. So I'm just surprised. I'm not surprised they're doing it. I'm surprised like production or whoever does it. I'm just surprised they invited them to come on the show. It's like more time.
Yeah. However we feel about Lala's continuation of just, good God, like at a certain point, I don't know, maybe put a timestamp on when you're gonna wait to talk about all of it again. Um, like Ariana and Katie and saying, "Oh, our friendship's run its course." And
Mhm.
I'm sure it did, but at the same time, you guys, we don't even know what's happening with this season 12, if it's happening or not. And, you know, it ends up feeling like it is more of that money grab. And it becomes just like, man, I don't know, find something else if you can. I
Mhm.
understand trying to make what's been working work, but when you're hearing it's not working anymore, maybe stop.
Yeah. And I also feel like it's like super inauthentic because then remember Lala responded and she's like, I never even thought about going on that show. And there's all these clips of her on podcasts being like, oh yeah, I'd go. If they asked me, I'd say yes right away. So it's like she's flip-flopping. And then it's like, oh, as soon as they ask her, she's like, yes. Like, which obviously she was going to say yes, but it's just funny that she pretended that she had no interest
Yeah.
like before because she didn't want to look like an idiot. But
I mean, as if she had no interest in a paycheck. I mean,
right. Like just
sorry,
it's
I have
yeah.
every interest in paychecks.
Everyone would say
Bear
yes.
with
Like
me.
don't pretend. Like don't act like you're
Yeah.
better than that show and you don't even barely even thought about it.
Which obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was another thing that came out. Now, there some of it, I have to be honest, I'm not it might be unpopular, but a lot of people are wanting Bravo to fire Andy Cohen. And it's not me just trying to be like kissing Andy Cohen's ass or anything like that. But there were the text messages between Brandy Glanville and Andy Cohen were, released, as well as the video that she used as the grounds for suing Andy and Bravo. Now, the video of Andy and Kate, where they're like, "Oh yeah, maybe we can have a threesome. You can watch us." I don't know if it's because we know Kate Chastain and we know Andy and we know Brandy. Actually, it is why. Because that's what makes it difficult, I think, personally, for me to be like, "Oh, that was disgusting."
Mhm.
Any other workplace, I would probably have a different perspective. And is that it's very biased. Let me just put it that way. And it's not because of any feelings I have about Andy Cohen, Kate, or Brandy. It is biased because we've gotten to know their personalities. And it to me, it was very much in jest. But if I don't know, I were working at some corporate job 9 to 5 and my boss sent that video to me, yeah, hello.
Yeah.
But if it were my gay boss and I'm straight and he's with another straight woman, I don't know. I'm feeling
Yeah.
conflicted.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely gray area because at the end of the day, Andy's friends with these people. Like, I'm sure there's proof of discourse between him and Brandy that is probably like this, which is why he felt like he could say this and joke around about it. Like, it's Brandy. Like, they probably talked like this from the day he met her. And so it's like, it's just like a unique situation because it's not a normal workplace. Like, you're friends and you joke around and I just feel like she just was offended one day and was like, no.
Well, it's more like she, after Ultimate Girls Trip, where she did make some bad choices, but I think
Mhm.
she felt like, well, production was telling me it was okay to do this. But at the end of the day, you have to be your own person.
Mhm.
You're an adult. You're not a teenager being swayed by producers.
Yeah. Well, and
While
I don't think they treat Andy like a boss either. Like that's the other thing. Like you can't go back and forth. Like they
right.
treat him like he's kind of like their peer half the time. From what I see at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's younger than some of them. He's the same age as some of them. And so first of all, these text messages were leaked, quote unquote leaked. I got to start with the fact that Brandy is texting with a green message here.
Trigger warning. Green
It does,
text.
yeah, it does say Brandy's iPhone, but I mean, they have I've never seen it put in this way because I was like, are they showing us some emails here? What the hell? But it's saying, showing the phone number, showing the status, showing whether it was delivered, sent, read, all of that, what time it was read, everything like that, the dates, things like that. So the first message is from October 18th of 2022, and that would have been around BravoCon time, actually. And it's Andy saying to Brandy, something like, I was glad to. That was so dumb of her to say, given her situation, whatever. And Brandy says back in all caps, exactly. I think she was trying to bait me. And then Andy replies to her, I really wanted you and Austin to get together. He had his eyes on you. And obviously, he's talking about Austin Kroll. And Brandy says, he's already DM'd me like 4 times, Shep too, but Austin had his girl with him. I'm going to Charleston for sure, winky face, and I don't even like blondes. We need more male options. Okay. First of all, I understand her trying to play a silly, fun little flirty game with her boss. Like, I'm not faulting her for that. But I mean, I'm not taking this, and again, I feel like I'm being biased, so I don't want to sound like I'm dismissing someone truly saying that they felt sexually harassed, because if someone feels that way, then that's your feelings, they're not facts, but your feelings aren't wrong, if that makes sense. I mean, it's not like he's saying directly, I need you to do this.
Yeah.
I also I don't really see Austin DMing Brandy being like, hey, we should hook up.
Yeah, I honestly don't really see that either.
And I'm not trying to make that as a diss to Brandy either. I'm just saying if anything, Austin may have been like, hey, it was nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. I just don't see him being like,
he has a lot of options. So I don't really, I hate to just say she's blatantly lying, but I don't see that in the context that she's saying it in.
No, and I also don't think that she is lying if she's saying, yeah, he's DM'd me a few times. Maybe he was like, oh, great picture. I don't think she's lying, but I also don't think it's to that extent. So then I guess this next series of messages that it shows, this was actually the day before on October 17th, where Andy says to Brandy, kind of hoping you and my stage manager hooked up. And she says to him, I think he wants you. And he just puts like, ah, ha, 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 ha. Okay. And then this
Are these supposed to be damning?
Yes, that's what I'm, yeah. So then this next exchange, so these are in backwards order. I apologize, friends. This was in July of 2022. Andy says to Brandy on these texts, by the way, next time I see you, I want to hear all the sex stuff you heard about, all caps, me. And she just sends back, haha, okay. And all he says is, I remember Marco was giving you tea, but you know everybody. So I'm sorry, this is really small and it's like a copy uploaded to a computer. So it's kind of hard to read. And I'm seeing the colors. Remember, she was texting in green and he was texting in blue. And he says, I remember Marco was giving you tea, but you know everybody. So I'm sure there is more. And all she says back is, I really haven't heard that much, honestly, other than Marco. That's it.
It's just like two friends talking.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to be completely biased and dismissive of someone being at a point where they felt like they need to file a sexual harassment suit. Just because this podcast right now is named Besties by Bravo doesn't mean I'm a mouthpiece for Bravo. I am here to defend Bravo if they do anyone, Bravo or anyone who represents them specifically to the extent that Andy Cohen does. I'm not their defender. But I'm kind of like, was that it?
Yeah.
There had to have been more. I don't know. I'm a little, and I wonder if there was, and maybe it mentioned too many names to the point where if it were her attorney was like, you can't release those, but you can release these.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like she just wants to try to make it look like she had an inappropriate relationship with her boss. And but if you watch any reunion, this is how I've heard him say to so many housewives and vice versa. Like, I got a friend for you. We need to find you a man. Like, housewives have said that to Andy. Like, which he deemed
Yeah.
inappropriate. Like, why are you single? Like, we need to find you a good man, whatever. And then he says the same thing to them. So it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. She's gonna have a hard time with that one.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just how that's how they've always interacted with him. Always.
Yeah, and I've had bosses that it was like that too. Like I'll never forget I had a boss and I still miss you, Rodney. He was gay and the way we would chit chat and talk about men and things like that, like I mean, there is no planet that I would ever imagine in a million years that I would file a harassment suit
Yeah.
for the conversations we had. But that's also just me. So I'm not just trying to be politically correct. I'm genuinely just trying to be like, look, once we start being dismissive of one person when they file things like this, then it trickles down and it has that trickle down effect. And that's more what I'm trying to be protective of. While also sharing my honest thoughts, just as you are.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then you also sometimes have to call it out a little bit because pretty much everyone says this is ridiculous, and then it will discredit people that actually have something that is going on. That's like what I think people off. Like that's why people are all coming out. Don't do this because the next time it actually happens to a woman on Bravo, like now you're the one they compare it to. So it's just like,
that's a fair point.
I don't know, it could go both ways.
It really could. Really could. Speaking of lots of different ways to look at things, let's get into Love Island USA. What do you say, Jessie?
Let's do it. That's what we're here for.
Okay. Yes, it is. Okay. Let's start with this. Like I said, there are a number of podcasts. And because Jessie was asking me when we were about to hop on here live, what podcasts? Like, what all have you been watching? Well, let's see. Liv and Kaylor were on Chicks in the Office. Then they were also on Not Skinny But Not Fat. Then the Vial Files. I haven't even had a chance to listen to Aaron and Rob because the Vial Files. I like your podcast so very much, Nick Vial. But they're really long, and I'm guilty of that myself. But sometimes 2 hours, I can't do it.
Oh my
2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah,
it's a lot. Yeah. So I still go listen to them. I think he does do really fantastic interviews with everyone that comes on because he gets that perspective of being someone who was thrust into the spotlight, reality TV type of thing. So yeah, I was listening. I didn't listen to the Aaron and Rob one, but I did listen to Kendall on there as well as Nicole, which is where he's catching a lot of heat. So I'm going to kind of do this in a slight recap format here, just so we can stay organized in subjects mostly, because y'all know I am very much like squirrel, shiny object. So what's that? There's a man outside my window. Truly this time though. But point being, I'm going to try and keep us a little more centered here. So let me start with this that I found really fascinating from the Chicks in the Office podcast, and something that I kind of knew that they do, but it just didn't cross my mind, that they do this whole mock run with people who are kind of hoping to be on the show, excuse me, and people who maybe, I don't know, could have been considered. Maybe they would put them on next year in the villa because they have to test out everything for the camera angles, where, figure out where these islanders are going to try and hide, things like that. And
interesting.
Yeah, it is. And so they do like a full mock run, from what I understand, for like a month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, they really,
yeah, I didn't look into like any of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I could be exaggerating on the month part, but it sounded to me like it was roughly like that.
Okay.
Now, and they will do like all the drama. And again, it's people a lot of times hoping to get on the show. And there have been people in the mock run who have found love and are still together, things like that. So I found that really fascinating.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So Kaylor and Liv also said that, Kaylor specifically, that they filmed them doing some sort of hometown visits, but they never showed this footage. Now, there's more from this and more from the Not Skinny But Not Fat. podcasts. They're with Amanda. But okay, I just want to start off with that little piece of information. I found it interesting.
Yeah, I actually find that very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have
what-
also liked to see the hometowns.
I would have
Like
liked
cut
to
out
see
some
that.
cut out some talking scenes. My God, just do a
I
little
know.
flashback to the hometown.
Right. I know. There are some moments where you're like, oh my God.
I'm like, fast forward.
Get on with it. What do you I have some really intense thoughts about this switch up on our PPG, our Powerpuff Girls,
Mhm.
Serena, Leah, and Janae. After the reunion,
Mhm.
it feels like a lot of the public did this wild switch up on them after hyping them up, saying, you girls better read them
Yeah.
down to filth. And then they barely did. And
Yeah,
the way people are reacting.
Yeah, I was surprised by that because, like, and I'm like usually like people get on my nerves, like in terms of like if I think they're being too crazy at a reunion, I'm like, just shut up, like relax. But like, I actually didn't think they were at all. I mean, Leah went a little hard on Andrea, but I think it was valid, like because she was right. She was like, you talk shit about me when you left, and now you're giving the same excuse that like the whole being over emotional. Janae was just like, don't talk about Leah.
Yeah.
Then oh my God, Serena. I always want to call her Sierra. She
there
like
is a Sierra.
Yeah. Like I feel like she was nice and like barely spoke. Like, so I am a little confused. I think maybe because like Andrea just came in and like apologized. Maybe then people were like, all right, leave her alone. But I thought they were totally fine. I was very confused.
I agree. I'm going to be pretty frank here. I feel like a lot of the public hyped up these women of color. We've got 2 Black women and a Middle Eastern woman to only end up when they barely even do what this general public's been wanting them to do.
Yeah.
Try to label them as mean, angry bullies. All these girls did was all they did was quote unquote stand on business and defended themselves and each other.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is also what's difficult is, are they supposed to take the sword and shield against every single troll on someone else's behalf when maybe this person did them wrong? Now, should anyone be receiving that level of hate? No. But this is the point. It shouldn't be on these people to deal with it. It should be on the general public to stop being crazy.
Yeah. I mean, before the reunion, people were making TikToks. I just keep saying Andrea because she was like the most popular / hated one. Like, of all the times she was mean in the villa, and then they just confronted her about it. So yeah, I don't understand. Well, and who was the one, and you might get to this, so sorry. The one then she was talking shit about Ariana. Like basically she was how she was like, I was bullied. Yeah. So it's just maybe because they're being so vocal afterwards, people are like, oh, they were mean. But I think in reality, they weren't mean at all.
No, I agree. So that was actually yeah, we'll get to Daia because they're well, yeah.
I don't want to take you off course. You just talked about how you're going to stay focused.
We all knew that.
You already look a little frazzled because I got you off course there.
First of all, I always look frazzled. That's just my permanent state. It's like a frazzled, see, I can't even say it. Frazzled, resting bitch face is basically where I'm at 24/7. So here's the thing too. I feel like there were a lot of things we didn't get. Like, why are these Casa girls afterward claiming that they were so traumatized by this reunion? And we didn't get the whole thing about the 2 Islanders that were allegedly hooking up under everyone's noses. Even though Janae and Kenny claimed to Us Weekly that it was like some rumor one person in particular made up just to mess with everyone.
I don't get any of it. I feel like this reunion, like, I feel like it was supposed to be multi-parts, and then they decided it wasn't going to be. Yeah. And then just cut. Like, it's all weird to me. Like, because then they're saying, oh, they didn't start till like 10:30 p.m. Like,
that wasn't even an actual production member that posted that. Apparently.
Oh, okay. Because
some random person did.
Okay. Because I was like, there's so many weird things around this reunion. But I agree. Like, they didn't talk about a lot of stuff. They didn't bring up that like rumor, which was crazy. I just, it seems like a lot of stuff was missing. And I don't even know if it's Ariana's fault. I almost
No,
feel
it's
like,
not.
yeah, I just almost feel like she either didn't get the questions to ask or they cut stuff. It was strange.
Well, it's also the first time Love Island's done a reunion like this, so I think they know what they're good at. They have their bread and butter of what they can cut up for, like, literally 5 days a week of
Yeah.
footage, but this was something entirely different. So I think that they're just learning, I guess. But don't worry, allegedly, Ariana really pushed hard on something that was just so traumatizing to Daia.
Yeah, the traumatizing thing, I was actually going to talk about that with the guys too. Like, why is it that the piece of shit men, and then the Casa girls that caused the scene, they were traumatized by like production and everybody, and everyone else is fine. Like, again, back to the Brandy stuff, we want to validate feelings like that, but I just find it a little rich that the people that acted a fool the most were traumatized. Like, okay.
Exactly. Well, and that was another thing that I did find fascinating from the Chicks in the Office podcast that Liv and Kaylor did, is that they were saying that you would go to Fiji and you sit in that hotel room and you don't know if you're going to be an OG, a bombshell, or a Casa person.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So it's not as though these Casa girls chose to be Casa girls. They had to go in and do it and do their thing. But at the same time, this is the same thing that I keep saying, is you have to be your own person. You went through rounds upon rounds of interviews. Now, did they maybe try and choose people that are more pliable and that they can, mold into doing what they want them to do for good television? Maybe, but you're still an adult. You know where your boundaries are. And if you can't set them in this regard, in a workplace where it's, simply, no, I don't want to go over there and try and get with that guy. It's a reality show. I just kind of think that also, from what I gathered from that podcast, is that Aaron, because remember, friends, he was on Traders UK and won as a faithful. So he's done reality TV before, and he taught Kaylor that whenever you're having a conversation that you don't want production to hear, tap your microphone so that your audio gets completely screwed up.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
There's a reason why we didn't see 90%, my assumption, of what went on with him and Daniela.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because it seemed like when he was confessing, there was a bit more. And I was like, I'm shocked they didn't show that, because that would have been just juicy. And sorry, I'm laughing at Pizza Hut talked more than anyone else there in the comments.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Love Pizza Hut did.
Dude, the pizza, come on. That was so stupid. They opened the box backwards.
Yeah,
can you believe it? Just eating chicken wings in your gown. No.
First of all, they knew better than to put that in the girls' room. At least for me, I would be like, let me save up my puffy, cheesy carbs for after I am out of this tiny thing that I am wearing.
Yeah, tell me soft clothes, please.
Yeah, speaking of brand deals, we did it, Joe. Cheesy Cordeezy Cheez-Its deal. Did you know they sold out on Cheez-Its site?
No.
Kordell's Cheez-Its deal, his little cheesy Cordeezy recipe. I was like,
I'm obsessed with him. I'm so happy that he because his whole life up until 3 weeks ago, he was just OBJ's little brother, his whole life. And now I think he is so cute. I think he's funny.
Is beautiful.
Yeah, he's so cute. I love him. So
I do too.
Hilarious. The box is real, right? With his picture on it. That's wasn't photo. Is that how the boxes looked?
I don't know. Maybe that's why it sold out. Because I was
because I kept seeing boxes of his picture on it, and he looked so cute on it. And I was
going to say, y'all just go on over to Kroger. I'm sure they have the same. That was my thought. I was like, why are people clamoring to buy it from Cheez-It?
I mean, I get bamboozled too often lately with online shit, so it could be fake. But what I saw was cute.
You never know. You never know but that would make more sense. That's actually a better explanation than what was going on in my head.
Why I was sold out everywhere.
Yeah, I'm like, why don't y'all just go to Walmart?
Yeah,
Target, whatever, wherever you get your Cheez-Its locally. I mean, it did kind of make me want to try the cheesy curd.
I know. I'm not even a Cheez-It fan, but I was like, honestly, it sounds kind of good.
anything baked cheese, I am a fan of.
Mhm.
Especially, have you tried? I'm sorry, gotta go there. Have you tried the extra toasty Cheez-Its?
I've had those before, yeah. They have a
Oh my
little, like,
God.
brown on them.
Ooh, love that shit. Sorry. Okay, I'm done. Did you notice this too? So Kordell and Serena made their relationship official.
Mhm.
And I find it quite interesting that three, okay, let me double go backwards in my counting. 3 of the final, we're going to say 6, but really 5 because did Rob and Cassie really like count? Um, they didn't really count. So we're going to say 3 of the 5 final couples that ended up staying together not only didn't drop I love you in the villa, but they waited to make their relationship official until they were out of the villa. So that was Janae and Kenny, that was Serena and Kordell, and that was Leah and Miguel.
Mhm.
And our 2 that were so intense, like seemed like these strong couples, no,
Yeah.
fizzled.
Mhm.
Um, okay. I'm just gonna move on because I take some, sometimes I take a little too many notes. Now, the Kendall and Nicole thing. Let me pull up. So y'all, I'm sure we know by now they broke up. And it was the day after the reunion. I'm like, y'all, I think we need to give our Islanders, let's just say 3 to 5 business days before we bother them again. Because it sounded like to be honest, it sounded like they're more traumatized by social media right now than they were by the actual reunion.
Yeah, I think even for the people that, like, aren't getting hate, like, if you think about it, and this is the first season I've watched, but everyone that's watched multiple seasons of UK or USA, like, this cast seems to be, like, very popular. Like, they can't
Yeah.
believe
Oh,
how famous, like,
no.
famous they all are, so I'm sure it's
As,
really hard to adjust to.
let me tell you, aside from Molly May and Tommy Fury, RIP to that relationship. Really, and maybe more Moira. There are very few Love Island in general. Any cast members that are this famous
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, I mean, you
In
expect
all the history.
something, you expect a boost, you expect brand deals, but, like,
Not like
yeah,
this.
this is crazy.
It's wild. Well, something that's interesting that I just noticed because I took screenshots of both Kendall and Nicole's Instagram stories. They posted, it looks like within 1 minute of each other to their Instagram stories. Because if I look at Nicole's, I have the screenshot. It says 59 minutes ago. And Kendall, oh my God, it was Kendall's that said, yeah, it was Kendall. Kendall said 59 minutes ago, and Nicole's said 1 hour ago. So she just barely beat him to the punch, but she was like, on August 18th, Kendall and I agreed our relationship was worth working on, and we were making plans for me to visit him in Dallas. However, why she is giving dates, I don't know.
Yeah, who cares?
However, today on August 20th, he called and ended things. Basically, I understand and respect his decision. Kendall was like, I have decided to end things with Nicole. It reached a point where it was not healthy for us to continue the relationship. And he just basically asks people not to give her shit.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's start with this.
Here's where we have to be very careful about what we
Yeah,
say.
I know.
Take a
You and I have
deep
been
breath.
going back and forth on this because we were really trying to figure out what our exact opinions were on this because
Which I think is good because I feel like we're not being swayed because there is a major opinion out there,
yes. And I think for the most part, you and I are kind of somewhere in the middle on it after our conversations, and what we'll get to that here. So when Nicole went on the Vile Files podcast, which was again, long podcast. Anyway, there's a lot of backlash coming from this because she speaks on that video. Okay. And I want to remind everyone that this video essentially was kind of outing maybe what Kendall may have I don't know, an inclination toward in his sexual life, things like that, but we don't know. Okay. I don't know about his sex life. Nobody but Kendall and his people he's been active with. God, it's almost uncomfortable. Okay. We don't know. And that's, all I can say there. The point is, I don't give a shit who the person is. It could be someone that is just generally loathed by the general public. Unless that person took that video of themselves and said, let me say, you, whoever I'm sending it to, can put this wherever you like, post it publicly, do whatever, or they themselves posted it to a public forum of any kind, that is completely and totally wrong, fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
To
I'm surprised
circulate.
people still do it, honestly, because
It's
it's just,
sick.
you're never going to win, no matter who it is. Like,
It was
it's
disgusting.
inappropriate. Yeah.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, like to your point, even if they're
To do that to
hated,
someone,
the
yeah.
person that released the video is going to be hated more, no matter who
And they
it
should be.
is. Yeah.
You're a piece of garbage doing that. God. So, with that being said, I want to make that very clear that there also has to be the thought process that if this had been Nicole this happened with, no matter when she took the video or didn't take the video, if Kendall reacted the same way Nicole has been, I told you earlier, I would have literally roasted him and held a seance over the body. I would have been done.
Yeah.
And I think we all would have.
Yeah.
You made a great point about it, though, that men are typically in a better position of power over women in like everything.
Yeah. That's why this is my opinion, not Kate's. But I'm very much equality. Yeah. Like whatever. Again, same with the video. Like it's disgusting whether it happens to a man or a woman, like if it's released. I just think when it comes to like Nicole and how she's reacting to everything and just like mentioning the video, like, yeah, I just sometimes I'm like, yeah, men just seem to always have the upper hand. So sometimes it's like, it still isn't good, but reversed, it would be a lot different no matter what or when. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to like verbalize what I'm thinking, but like,
I know what you're saying. It's women tend to be in more vulnerable positions.
and she's ultimately, and we could talk more in detail about this in a bit, but like in my opinion, she's ultimately bringing it up to defend herself because it seems like she's getting attacked and she was just mad Kendall just wouldn't ever like defend her on social media. And not that that's right, but like it's almost like if she didn't bring up the video, like nothing would make sense. Like what she's saying, nothing would make sense. I don't know if I agree with it or not. I actually I don't know what my opinion is about it. It's all just hard weird and gross.
Well, here's the thing is she goes on the Vile Files, y'all, and she tells Nick and his wife that essentially it was because we did hear this at the reunion that he was allegedly on a dating app 2 days before he came in the villa when he was in the hotel room by himself and he said he was bored. And so he sends this video to someone on there. Now, what's interesting is Nicole claims that Kendall sent it on Raya. But from what I understand on Raya, you cannot screenshot or screen record any messages you receive. So unless they exchanged a text message and then, switched over.
That makes sense because it's like, famous or higher profile people on there.
Right. So, I'm also having a hard time believing that Kendall was on Raya before.
Yeah, same. Like, come on. He was like the most. I never liked him. I was like, he's so cringe. How's he on Raya?
Well, see, and here's the thing. I liked Kendall at first. Yes, he was giving me ick on so many things, but also not to the extent that a lot of people were getting ick. I thought he was a nice guy and just silly and whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of just thought he was a sweet guy and deserved more of a chance than what he was getting. It was Casa that turned it around for me.
Yeah.
I think let's go ahead and call a spade a spade. I think Nicole got the ick from the video because that's not something she's into. And that's perfectly okay that she's not into it. Just like it's perfectly okay. Whatever Kendall's into, he can be into. If it's legal, you be into it, honey. But that's your thing.
Yeah.
But she, I think, was too afraid to admit or too embarrassed, too scared of what the public backlash might be if she were like, nah, I got the ick from this. I'm done.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, though, it's okay if she was like, oh my gosh, this completely freaked me out. I can't. Because, yeah,
everyone's like entitled to like what they're into. I mean, he's entitled to that, and she's entitled to not be into it. So,
Agreed.
But yeah, I've been hearing
And
people thinking like she just was too scared to break up with him after the video. So like she really had to hone in on something else to make it.
agreed.
She did. And I know she could have been crying for a lot of reasons. She could have been embarrassed, could have been whatever. But like, I also just found that she did seem like very upset at the reunion. Like, I didn't find it to be, and again, she could have been crying over, like I said, just being embarrassed. I don't know. But I did kind of feel bad when no one was like, I can see where you're coming from with like, I don't know.
I did too. At the same time, it was like, baby girl, this isn't really about you.
Yeah.
It's a mortifying, embarrassing thing. And while I think Kendall should have fessed up, of course, she found out that it was the 2 days allegedly before the villa, the day after he lied to her about it. But so if that's the case, then yeah, I don't really blame him. Now, was lying ever okay? Only in very rare circumstances. But this was like, I don't really blame him for freaking the F out and being like, I can't even say this. But again, I'm not saying that it was okay that he lied, and I'm not trying to be against her on it, but
yeah, I also heard, and I don't know what's true and what's not, but I also heard like they don't have their phones when they're that close. I don't know if that's true. So then people were like, you can't even have your phone. So like, but he also didn't deny it happening. Though. Okay. Cause I was gonna say, he didn't deny that it happened in that time period. Right. So it's.
Yeah. So a lot of them did for like a week.
Okay.
Because if you look at both see, this is where I was like, Jessie, if I do any more investigating, any more sleuthing before we hop on here, I'm going to die.
Yeah. I'm like sending weird tidbits too.
So if you look on Kaylor's TikTok and you look on Liv's TikTok, you can see the same hotel room setup that they were both in hotel rooms taking TikToks. And remember, Kaylor was living in Pennsylvania. So there were no palm trees in her backyard.
Yeah.
And so I think that they took their phone after about a week. And that's when she was communicating with her mom on the Fire Stick, Netflix changing the names.
Yeah.
Being like, hi, Mom, I miss you, which actually was really pretty smart. And I was like, okay, Kaylor, you might survive an apocalypse somehow. I don't know, like maybe a kidnapping. I would love to see you survive that. And that's good. So then even though most of this reunion was not about Kendall and Nicole, there's a lot to go over on this.
Well, and it's like you said, all the podcasts afterwards and backlash online.
Yeah.
I mean, people hate her. Like, it's like my TikTok is like Nicole. And like, yeah, and just all the same opinion. Like, people just, I'm blocking her. Like, she's terrible. And, going into they think her and Nick Viall are like trying to out Kendall. Like, it's just, I'm like, oh my God, this girl's gonna need help. It's like, it's bad.
I mean, and this is what's hard is like with what we do, we want to have our own opinions. And sometimes there's something that I miss. I was doing my best to try and take in everything she had been saying on there, but maybe I did miss something. I don't know, because if there is that strong of a backlash,
it was mostly Nick basically saying like, I felt like he was hiding his true self when he was here. I think he acts the way he does because he's something else.
Again, I took it a different way.
So did I. But we're the only two I think that did.
Oh God.
I was like, am I an idiot? Like, I'm usually smarter than this, but I took it as like, he's a loser. Like, Kendall's a dork and like is trying to pretend to be someone he's not. That's what I took it as.
Honestly, I took it so I took it almost like the polar opposite, that actually he's trying to come off as a nice guy and in real life he's just like a player, going behind your back talking to girls on dating apps.
So everyone else is taking it as he's outing him, which
shit, that I didn't even think of that. It didn't register to me.
I wouldn't have either. It's just what all the TikTok, that's why everyone really hates her. And so that's why I'm like, okay, I think we need to take a step back because like that's like a big allegation and it just that could have not been what they meant at all. But I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
Me either.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so now I'm like, oh my God, am I like missing? Okay,
it was just that one part. That's like what I just keep seeing that one clip and then
I just didn't take it that way. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
I didn't either.
All right. Well, shit.
You're like, now my notes are ruined.
Yeah, completely. You know, I gotta be honest, this portion she shouldn't have brought up on the Vial Files, which is where, like, remember during the reunion when she says to Kendall, "Oh, you're posting all these girls to your stories, like your Instagram stories." And then she brings up on the Vial Files that it was because there was an alleged I'm not gonna say altercation because that's not what it sounded like. It was just like a tiff. Okay, an alleged tiff between Kendall and these two women who are Black women when he and Kenny were doing like a paid club event appearance in Dallas. And these two girls, one of them, she has a huge following on
Yeah, I
TikTok.
saw their TikToks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She and her girlfriend went out and they said that essentially there were just mostly white women in their table booth area, whatever, most of y'all been to a club at least once before. You know what I'm talking about. And that Kendall kicked them out for they felt no other reason than the color of their skin. Now, Nicole bringing that up, Miss Ma'am, girl, that was you just being petty. And then you're going to keep saying, yeah, but we're still together.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if you were my girlfriend, I'd be like, not anymore, honey. And
Yeah,
it sounds like
really-
that's the way that went down. Because why would you, I understand if they have to ask her questions about this video and her saying the lying because her story was that she saw the video finally when Janae asked her the day after Kendall shows her a screenshot of it. I'm backtracking a little. Sorry, friends, because I want to move on from the video after this. But, and she didn't actually see the video. Janae pulls her aside the next day and she's like the fifth person to be like, are you okay? And she's like, why is everyone asking me that? It's his nudes were leaked. What's the big deal? Like, who hasn't that happened to? I mean, not me, but you know what I'm saying? And she's like, so she claimed that she recognized the hotel bed pattern, which by the way, if you do go back and look at the TikToks that oh my God, the TikToks that Kaylor and Liv did, you will notice that the hotel beds, if they are the same, maybe the headboard has a pattern, but the sheets are white. And so is the comforter. Thank you so much. All of the furniture, aside from maybe, I will concede this, maybe the headboard had some sort of pattern to it. But all of the other furniture was white because I was looking for this pattern everywhere I could. I have not seen this video. I will not contribute to the views on it. But just saying, it's interesting that was her saying that was her clue to know that it was not an old girlfriend that he trusted. So we're going to have to look. I took screenshots. Let me just take another look here as we're sitting here. I keep doing this.
That's
every
what,
time
I mean, Janae's the one that, I thought Janae was the one that told her it was the same hotel. Like, she didn't even come up with that on her own. So it's,
yeah, most of the furniture in here is white, and then there's wood and wicker. So, yeah. But the girls that she was talking about being on Kendall's stories were these two girls that Kendall claimed he needed to take them out day drinking the next day to apologize. Then she alleged that he claimed it was Janae's idea to do that. And so Janae was like, no, I told him he needed to apologize. So she goes on this whole thing to try and prove that he has lied to her more than once when really it wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Of course, there was some good news out of this. The women all said that Kenny at this event was very nice and was like, I'm not taking photos with any girls out of respect for Janae. I was like,
I love Kenny. Kenny's so cute.
He pissed me off real bad after Casa Amor, but now I'm like, oh, you're cute. Okay.
Yeah, Casa Amor, they all were just like, I was like, this is men in America right here. Like, we give them one little treat and they all just go for it.
On a boys' holiday.
Yeah.
And also, can we admit a little bit of the irony of the fact that Rachel Leviss is suing Ariana for trying to say that, or trying to allege that Ariana sent a video of her that was taken?
Yeah. My God.
But
I can't. Yeah.
There's now been some amendments made to Rachel's claim because she had to say, well, I have no proof Ariana did that.
God, she needs to go away. She keeps saying that she hates the backlash, and I see her stupid mug on my TikTok of her podcast every 5 seconds.
It's hard because I really, even in the midst of like all of it, I was like, guys, I'm kind of, because we're in another group chat, and I was like, guys, I'm kind of worried about her. I'm feeling kind of bad. And you both were like, why?
Yeah, she's doing it. She could just go live a simple life in Arizona if she wanted to. She's not.
I don't
Suing
think anyone
people.
would allow her to for a while, but
Yeah.
Okay. Then we get to the Daia. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and
Okay.
talk about the Daia because I just wanted to hit some main points because God, there was just so much to consume from this. Daia, who goes on saying how, oh my God, like everyone's just been getting so much online hate and blah, blah, blah. Well, she's apparently on vacation in Greece or something and decides to go live because if there is something these bombshells and Casa girls who get dumped love to do is go live on
I
TikTok.
know. Seriously. And talk shit.
Which, by the way, do you remember the first time you and I tried to go live together and we both were so nervous? We had
like blacked out.
We had so much wine beforehand, and then we got in trouble on.
Yeah, my
for
TikTok
having a
got
glass of wine.
banned. I was so annoyed.
Jessie got banned from going live TikTok for like 2 weeks because we each had a glass of wine in her. We were just so freaking nervous.
We got like
now,
so worked up about it, and then lasted 30 seconds because my TikTok got shut down.
Stupid. Sorry. It's just like I don't know, going live on social media, yet here we are on YouTube. Anyway, now Daia goes on her live and she's like, well, first of all, me talking about the social media aspect happened after I get to the reunion and after I was telling producers, like, am I going to get to speak and say my piece and say my side of things? There was no side of things we needed to hear from her.
No, I honestly was like, and again, I don't know if they cut stuff out, but I thought in the beginning before it even happened, I thought it was kind of weird that they brought on everybody. Like, I understand they want to give people like a chance, I guess, to talk. Like, no offense, I like barely remembered who those people were. Like,
well, like Hakeem said nothing the whole time.
Right.
Same with Cassie.
And Harrison.
Nothing.
Like,
yeah.
And he was like, it's just, there's nothing for them to talk about.
No.
So yeah, you probably wouldn't have had time to speak because no one cares.
No. I mean, I just don't know what she thought she really needed to say aside from maybe what she did. But I guess she started kind of having a fit at producers being like, you brought me all the way here and said I would get to speak, blah, blah, blah. So she claims that portion where she was talking about the social media, quote unquote, bullying, the social media hate was actually at the very end and that they put it at the beginning. Well, guess what, Daia? We've all seen reality TV shows as well. We know how editing works. We don't care whether it was at the beginning or the end.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Number one. Number two, she starts throwing shade at Ariana. Miss Ma'am. Ooh, okay. Let's just talk about what she claimed. Okay. So she says that during the reunion, Ariana looks around to everyone and says, raise your hand if you thought Leah, quote unquote, took a backseat during the dumping of Andrea, which really, I cannot believe we've dedicated this much time to that specific thing. When
so stupid.
It was over the verbiage of tried to take a back seat and took a back seat.
Yeah. Yep.
I cannot believe this, but okay, sure. So anyway, she says that Ariana looks around and Daia refused to raise her hand, and a few other people wouldn't raise them. And it still doesn't even totally make sense to me. But I've watched this video at least 3 times and it still doesn't make sense. Like, homegirl, what are you doing? She goes, I then said, no, I'm not going to raise my hand if that's not how I feel. And that's okay, whatever. And she said that Ariana then was like, come on, guys, I've been on reality TV for longer than you. And I have received worse backlash and I've been on the receiving end worse than you have. Basically get over it. It's like she heard Lala say on her podcast, make this claim that Ariana told her she needed to get over, or told Sheena that Lala needed to get over her father dying that season that Lala's father passed, which I don't see Ariana saying something like that. That the history doesn't add up for her to have ever said something like that. And I feel like she took the words that Lala said of the get over it. She was she's paying attention, I think, and she wants to stay relevant. So
Yeah. Because it didn't make any sense. Also, these people are idiots. Like the 95% of the people like are obsessed with Ariana on her side, love her. Like, and you're already getting crap online and you're gonna come on and then just talk shit about Ariana. Like, it's not gonna go well for you anyway.
And on top of that, to then say, yeah, I mean, I don't care whatever show you were on, like Vanderpump Rules or something. Like,
like, put some respect on the name.
yes!
Oh my God.
Put some respect, Jessie.
Like, your show wouldn't even exist if it wasn't
It
for
would not.
Vanderpump
No
Rules.
one would know your name, sweetheart.
Oh my God. Well, my other thing is like too, and I know online bullying is very bad. Like people say really, really awful stuff. And I'm not saying that's good, but I guess because like I see people on TikTok do this a lot. Like you have to prepare yourself when you go on these shows and act a certain way, or you're an influencer. People are nuts, or people are just bored and they're going to talk shit and they're going to say mean things. And like, if you can't handle that, and again, I'm not condoning it. It's just, if you can't handle it, you probably shouldn't do what you're doing. You probably shouldn't go on a reality TV show. You probably shouldn't try to be a content creator. Like, it's just what people do, unfortunately. And so sometimes I just get annoyed. I'm like, yeah, this comes with the territory, girl. Like, you're gonna get shit, especially if you acted like an idiot on television. Like, it's just, people are crazy.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, but I feel like we'll call all of them the OG Villa girls just to be comparative to Casa girls. I felt like they were very gracious to them. After the emotional moment of the fire pit scene, seeing all these men come in with different women, I felt like these girls were very kind to the new girls.
Yeah.
And for them to act, like, they basically are spitting in their face when they were talking shit on our OG Villa girls. As they're sitting there, the way my jaw dropped, I was like, y'all, you want to talk about the real mean girls, the way y'all are sitting there. And on top of that too, Andrea trying to cry me a river as she's doing a live and her friend jumps on and says Leah's ugly.
Yeah.
Thinking that's funny. Like, no, come on.
No. Yeah, I actually thought, especially like Kaylor, but I thought the girls they tried their best to always be nice to the new girls coming in and really just took their anger out on the guys.
Which,
and
hey, I take your anger out on a man. I'm
and honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I would do that. I'd be like, "Who's this bitch?" And I'd probably be mean to her. Like, but I thought they were all pretty nice, and so
I thought they were too.
What did they expect? Like, they had to they're gonna get like maybe some awkwardness from the women that were already there. Like, that's how it goes.
It is like you. I mean, I don't know if once you're in Fiji, you can say, "I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go home." If I'd found out I was a Casa girl, I probably would have been like,
yeah, it's rough.
Not because I just want to be like main cast. It's just I would not feel comfortable doing that. I would be shaking and like shitting my pants the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's like, I don't know how it usually goes, but most of the men were like taking this like for this season. You know what I mean? Like they went into the Casa already like liking some of the girls. So it made it really hard.
Exactly. Oh, but they did their job, didn't they? All right, let's get into our last two topics in all of this. One being the Kaylor and Aaron of it all. Which, by the way, did y'all notice the coffee mate placement? Gotta just point that out.
Wait, I did not.
Yeah, lots of coffee mate placement because I was like, why are these annoying... love you, coffee mate.
You're like, sponsor me,
please. Oh, great. There's a man right outside my window. Hello, sir. Hammering away. Oh, you just really got to be right there as we're wrapping up. Sir, could you give me 15 minutes? Thank you. Just kidding. He can't hear me. Oh, wait. I think he's giving me the 15 minutes. Please, God. Anyway. So, yeah, lots of coffee mate because there was kind of like some weird commercial happening before. They immediately cut to the men in their areas with the coffee mate. And you notice how Kendall was like, I'm only drinking coffee tonight. And I was like, that was such a weird thing to point out, but okay. And now we know why.
Weird. Yeah.
It's coffee mate and Pizza Hut. So Kaylor and Aaron, they get to their segment and it is immediate. He's like, yeah, I just want to start by saying I haven't been totally honest. I put my hands down Daniela's pants and all that. And Kaylor's like, what?
Yeah, like you, oh my God. I love Kaylor. I know she's a lot, but like,
No,
I
I
think
love
she's
her.
hysterical. I love how she treated all the girls and like her just being like loud and just like with her central PA accent is just incredible.
I mean, honestly, I feel like Kaylor's little sis.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
really is.
Mhm.
And like also she and Liv were saying on the Chicks in the Office podcast again that before all of this, there was time spent obviously in New York with all of them, and that Kaylor and Aaron were outside of a 7-Eleven at like 2 screaming at each other. And baby sister, I love you so much, but this does not surprise me.
No, it doesn't.
You would be outside of 7-Eleven screaming, "Fuck Aaron!"
Yeah. God, I'm such
I
an
love
idiot.
her so much.
Yeah.
I do. I genuinely do.
I
Y'all know
really do
this.
too.
Tell me Janae is not someday going to be a real housewife the way she was eating
Oh.
popcorn, brought her receipts.
Mhm. Love that. That was really funny.
Wait for it, friends. She's going to be a real housewife someday.
Yeah.
Just you wait.
I
If
could
they
see
are
that.
smart. If they are smart. But yeah, Kaylor gives him Aaron a full read down. Why do people now people are getting pissy at Kaylor saying they feel bad for Aaron?
No,
So
everyone
because
now feels bad for him. They're like, he's
No.
taking too much shit. I'm like, oh my God. Like these people, like, he's an asshole. He keeps lying to her. And then I was pissed when he was like, you knew my granddad died the morning of the BFS podcast and you didn't defend me. She's getting drilled with questions from like Dave Portnoy and like, she can't just pretend to be nice to you. Like you guys had this planned, like
then maybe he shouldn't have shown up for the
right.
podcast.
And like don't
And it would
don't
have been
be an
understandable.
asshole. Right.
It would
Like-
have been understandable. His grandfather just died. Absolutely. If
Yeah.
you need to take that day, take that day.
Yeah, just reschedule or something, or yeah, just don't go. But like that was annoying because that seemed like the only thing he had on her. And like it's like just take the L. Like you don't have to like make stuff up. Like
Mm-hmm.
and then
Agreed.
it's just the whole sad boy act. Like he's Mr. Sad Boy now, and like was on again Nick Viall. I just watched the clips, but again playing Mr. Sad Boy, like quiet voice, like it's like looking down, and all the comments are of course are like he's taken enough, like leave the poor man alone. And it's like he just got caught in another lie on the reunion, like a new one. It's just like it's not like it's been 6 months of him being like a perfect human being. It's like one after the other after the other. And
Agreed.
People are already like in love with him again. It's stupid.
Well, here's the thing. I think you and I, as we're saying this, do we think anyone aside from the demons in the world, like the true demons that are mostly in prison or should be, do we think anyone really deserves that much online hate for anything of this nature?
Yeah.
No, no. But people need to stop saying things like, go unalive yourself. You're a piece of shit. No, but what we can do is be like, bro, you and your homeboy Rob need to just go fly off together because you guys, it's almost as though they use the fact that now we are very rightfully so, as we should be, big about allowing men to have their emotions when they haven't been allowed this for so long. And I'm not saying that's stigma is no longer there. I mean, God damn, Tim Waltz's son cries out of pure pride for his father at the DNC, and everyone's calling him a crybaby. I don't care what side you're on. A kid crying because he's so proud of his father. My God, is this really what we've come to? At the same time, let's not use tears to our advantage because when women do this, we call them out all the time. So I think it's just kind of frustrating to watch that.
And she's just ultimately sticking up for herself. Like again, she caught him and I don't know if she would have popped off like that if he didn't say he stuck his hand down Danielle's pants. Like
after all this time?
Yeah, like it's not just she's just start screaming at him. Like he didn't say that. He must have thought Daniela was going to tell her. Like he must have thought they were going to show a clip. Like because it is wild. He just said it, and she was like,
nowhere.
"Wait, what'd you say?"
The top. That's such a great point. That must be what it was, because I was like, bro, you just
And you
you
just
didn't
tried to
even try
shove
to
it in.
land the
Yeah.
plane. You crashed it into the middle of set. And I was like, damn, y'all, like,
Mhm.
why are you being like, maybe give it a second. But I don't know, maybe also he was just like, he'd been bursting at the seams about it for so
Yeah.
long that he was like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, and then of course every time he got shit, Rob defended him. And Kaylor's like, "What was that, Rob? What'd you say?" Like, just let him take it. Like, it's no one saying he's like this bad evil person, but like you have to be held accountable. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just like, and women should stick up for themselves. I felt really bad for her when she was like, she went into that place with so much confidence. And I believe it. You can kind of
Yeah.
tell, like, she was confident. She was so fun and confident and like quirky. And then by the end, and now like with all this press afterwards, like she does just seem a little like
More
almost like he
subdued.
dulled her a little bit. And I do feel bad. Like I believe that he did that.
Well, she had a great point when she was like, you flipped the F out about me kissing Hakeem in a challenge, which is true. He did. And
Yeah.
it's always that man
Mm-hmm.
that, ooh,
Yeah.
unless they're a Scorpio. Hi. If they're acting jealous, you should be suspicious. No, I'm just a psycho.
Yeah.
It's true. Anyway. So this uncensored Andrea dumping, what was hard about them making the decision to do this was that if they were going to show the full thing unedited, uncensored, they had to show the full thing unedited, uncensored. Did we need 13, 14, 15 minutes, however long it was, of this? No. What I was at the beginning of this, I was laughing at Liv being like, no, we can't send Janae home. Janae is our mother.
Yeah.
And they were just going, Janae is our family.
Yeah. She just starts crying again. I'm obsessed.
God, guys, fuck, Janae's our family.
I loved Kaylor crying. I know people thought it was annoying. I'm like, it's hysterical. It's so always at like dumb times. Like,
you have to look at her as that little, like your best friend's little sister.
yeah.
Like she doesn't drive you nuts in the same way that she does like her own sister.
Yeah.
But like you have a different type of love. I don't know how else to
No, but I agree. I was like, I was like, okay, they had to have showed the whole thing if that's what they were advertising, but it was dumb. It didn't prove anything. It'd be one thing if like, I almost wish they would have been like, all right, you guys have been asking for this, but like, just be honest. Just be like, it doesn't really reveal much. Here you go. Here's a clip of like the beginning of because once Leah started talking, I feel like then they could have cut it. Like, because she wasn't like, unless she was like,
said anything.
Yeah, like unless she was like, get Andrea out, it was pointless.
I agree. It was,
and it took up so much
Liv
time.
is one of those people that's going to take over the talking situation. Yeah. She's how you and I probably would. No, I think you would have been Liv doing all the talking. I would have been sitting there, probably Kaylor going, I know. She's like, I'm family.
She's like, you guys are going to cry, so I guess I'll talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like she stood on business and took care of it. That's what I mean. Like while everyone else is having like a little bitch fit, you're going to be like, okay, we have a job here to do. What, and you would have emotions about it. Like, of course. And Liv did. Janae is our mother. Sorry. I couldn't. It was making me laugh so hard.
No, it was really funny.
But yeah, I mean, Liv apologizes to Leah. And again, it became all about Leah said, I tried to take a back seat to Rob. So really, this all comes down to Rob's bitch ass trying to stir up some dramas.
Yeah, and they barely, again, he got like nothing. Like he was like the main star of the show. And like no questions, no backlash, no nothing. Like, again, just either poor editing or poor organizing of the reunion. It was bizarre.
I mean, they're going to have to work real hard to make this reunion, this next season. Jesus Christ, the knocking. This next season, they're going to have to work really hard to get this next season to even be anywhere near what this season has been. So I really, really hope they put in that effort. They need to make now see this part of what I wonder. I don't know if Harrison would bring enough drama, but they need to make someone like Harrison
Oh my
plant
God.
him right
He's
in there.
like so beautiful. Every time he's on the screen, I'm like, this man's like perfect looking. How does he have to go on national television to find a woman?
I think if they put him and maybe Sierra as
Sierra's so pretty
OGs.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, she's stunning. And she, for the most part, was pretty unproblematic. So it's not like they would have a lot that they have to come back from. I think that would be fantastic if they tried
I'm actually
that.
surprised if they have this all figured out, like kind of in the beginning. I'm surprised it took so long for them to bring them out because they're just so attractive. Like, I feel like Sierra could have been like an early bombshell and like really fuck shit up because she's just one of the most gorgeous people I've ever seen. Not that, of course, looks aren't everything, but like, let's be real. Like, they saved like the two hottest people on the planet to come in like the ninth inning.
That.
Yeah.
If Harrison had been there in Casa, because again, it's not all about looks, but my God, they're
for this show, it kind of is because it's all just lust. It's like, who are you lusting over?
In bikinis and shirtless all
day.
Like
the time is like, it's like they love each other after 24 hours. It's like all like heightened. So it's like you need the good looking people in there.
Yeah, they need to have that instant. They should have put him absolutely in Casa, I think. I think he and Liv might have ended up hitting it off if they had, and it would have been a different story. Because Kane, I already talked about this last week, and
he's in rough waters.
Yeah, I mean, okay, we have reached the end here, friends. I want Jessie to tell you again where you can find her. I'll do your promo here, my girl.
Just follow me on TikTok. That's where I post the most. I just talk into my phone constantly about my opinions at realitywitch_ or Jessie Nails. Search either of those and my account will come up.
Perfect. And listen, friends, if you're watching here on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and the like button. We're growing this community here. Also, follow me at Besties by Caitlin, CAITLIN, on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. I'm giving up on Twitter. That's it. Twitter's dead.
Good.
Also, check out the Pop Culture Besties merch shop on Etsy. It is linked in the show notes. It's all
that stuff is, anyone listening, very cute. Like, I'm not just saying that. Like, yeah, reality TV, I don't know, like this favorite sport. This type of like merch can be so corny. You did such a good job.
That is, thank you for being my hype girl. Oh my God. I appreciate you. I did put a lot of effort into it, I will say. Please leave a 5-star review. And oh yes, this was the main thing, my friends. Excuse me. We're going to hop off here 2 seconds. I told y'all next Tuesday is my baby boy's very first day of school ever. Excuse me while I go sob into the first outfit he wore home from the hospital for 2 hours. But I am going to be moving the live on Tuesday to a slightly earlier time so that I can be there to pick him up from his very first day of school because I want to hear all about it. I want to be there for him to be like, good. Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you do?
Snacks.
Nothing.
Fun.
Yeah.
I need to be there for it though. So I'm thinking, I'm thinking I'm going to be moving it. Now I'm on Mountain Time, so I have to remember Eastern Time. I believe what I'm going to do is move it up to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would make it 10 a.m. Pacific on Tuesday for doing the live on Orange County, which is on tonight. I have to confirm if it works for Giorgio, but I may be having to move lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays up to that because of school. So again, gonna go sob into his baby blanket. Jessie, thank you again so much for being here. Friends, keep an eye out on the YouTube channel, or I'm trying to grow that Facebook community, or else I'll just post it to my social media about the time that I will be doing my live on Tuesday and Thursday next week. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. It's almost our last weekend of summer, so get out in the sunshine if you can.
Yeah.
Until Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.